the great, legacy of the Austin Organ Company, which was founded here in Hartford and has been here in Hartford since 1892, is a terrific one, and we're so grateful that Austin was able to come in and just renovate the organ that it designed here in 1965. One of the great features of the Austin design is this idea of interchangeability, so that you can take components that were installed in the 1960s and simply replace them. And let's go in and take a look at the mechanism, and you can see what I'm talking about. So again, as in a general rule, the pipes sit here and they're ready to be played, and all the mechanisms which make them play are in these large wooden, what we call wind chests. And underneath this wind chest is this little airtight room that has a door, and you can just walk inside of it. And so inside are all these mechanisms, and you can see all of these little assemblies. Each assembly has a little magnet that becomes a magnet when you play the note on the keyboard. And so this whole assembly was replaced, and it was replaced with an identical mechanism, that Austin makes today as what it made 60 years ago. And so every single mechanism that you see here with all the magnets, they were all replaced, and all the wiring was replaced and brought up to codes that are appropriate for 2017. And then this large mechanism here, which is like a big fireplace bellows with leather corners and seams, all of that was completely redone as well. Everything is brand new and should last for another 50 or 60 years, which is what is so rewarding that this project was done, is because it's a real vote of confidence in the future of music making here at the Temple. The way this mechanism works is that every time you play a note on the keyboard, there is an electrical contact that energizes this magnet. This is a magnet, and it is energized when you play the note, and that opens a little valve to the outside, and that causes this leather pouch to collapse like that. It's very quick, and it collapses like that. All right, and then if we look up here, we can see this piece of wood moving back and forth. But none of these valves is opening yet, because the other thing we have to do is to pull a stop, as it were. We have to say, okay, I want to play the flute. So I pull a stop, and a similar action occurs here, and this large valve here closes like this, which moves this bar into this position, to the on position. So now, keep an eye on this valve as we've got the stop on, and then I'm going to play the note, and the valve opens, because that bar is in a position to keep it open. So opening the valve is a mechanical thing that happens because I've got the stop on here, and I play this note here. And then I can play this note, and that valve opens, or then I can change and do this stop. Now I've got I've got different things happening. Here's a valve up here now. That'll open when I play that. So once I turn the organ on, this large blower, electric blower down below, turns on, and it fills the organ with air under pressure. So now the organ is sitting here waiting to be played. So now I make a decision, okay, I'm going to push down this stop key here, which brings the pipes associated with this stop into readiness for playing. And in this case, the pipes I'm going to play are this set that's right up here out in the open. So now those are ready to go, and as soon as I start playing, those electrical connections are being made and the valves are opening every time I press a key. So that is one set of pipes, one color as it were. So then I have my choice. Now I can go and play a different color by, let's suppose this one is called Harmonic Flute. And that brings into readiness for playing another set of pipes, which is over on the left-hand side. So there might become a time in the music when I want more of a flute color. So that's when I would draw that particular stop. But I can also, the beauty of the organ is that I can pull many stops at the same time to give more grandeur. So, for example, if I do several of these stops at once, now I play a bunch of things here and I play this. So that is the beauty, not the beauty, but the excitement for the organist is I get to make all these decisions. Do I want to pull these 4 stops or maybe just 3, maybe a little less brilliant? Or even less brilliant? Maybe I need something that's very quiet. That's called a viola, and it is meant to kind of sound a little stringy, and that's really good for accompanying the choir. Now, these are all pipes that were here originally, but then in the course of making changes, we also had the ability to add a few things. And some of these are actually electronic stops that enhance the bass sound of the organ. Now, of course, what's great about the organ is that I have this whole range of pitches. I can play at sort of at piano pitch, or I can play very high or very low, okay? But then I also have these very low sounds that I play with my feet. And in that sense, I'm playing like the double basses on the orchestra. So here are some of these very low sounds. But then I can go now even lower than that. So it's a very commanding sound, so that when I add all of these other things, there's a really weight and gravity to the sound that was kind of missing before. And so that is an addition to the organ I'm very happy with. And the other thing that we did was to move some of the solo stops around a little bit. Here's a beautiful little solo stop. And the pipes are playing over to my left. Originally, they were over on the right. And for various reasons, I had those pipes moved from left to right, or right to left. So, but you know, it's the same pipes that were there before, but it just makes it a little more versatile for me. Another thing we have is a very loud trumpet sound now. This is the sound of that trumpet. Fanfares and that kind of thing. There's even a set of bells. You know, so there are all these colors that I can, the beautiful flute sound. Here's a sound that sounds like strings in an orchestra. So, in a sense, the organist is kind of the orchestrator, and depending on the music that Joseph has composed, I get to, make some decisions here. Okay, so in this piece, I want to have kind of a solo sound here. Okay, so that's the melody that I want to bring out, but then how do I accompany that? So in the bass, I'll have a little bit of pedal sound here. So that's about right. And then with my left hand, I just need some accompaniment. So I'll go back to those strings. I kind of like the sounds of that string. So now I've got accompaniment in my left hand, and then a bass line with a pedal, and the melody in my right hand. so that's how we orchestrate a piece. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. I didn't have to use that. I could have used a different sound. Here's an entirely different sound for the melody. Not very well in tune, but you get the picture. It's just a different sound that I can do. Whatever I feel like that day. More of a fluty sound. Here's kind of a neat one. Depending on what I feel like that day, or maybe the singers. It's just all kinds of creative things. And the great part about the organ is that this organ is, you know, very complete. We have a lot of choices here. But if I go down the street to another church or temple, it's going to be a totally different organ, totally different set of stops. And we just have to start over again. Well, what sounds good here may sound different down there. So organists generally love going from place to place to hear different organs and how organ builders responded to a building in a different way. And that's the fascination of organs, is that they are all completely different. Play middle C, Floyd. So, we're tuning this rank to one that's already been tuned, and the fact that it's out of tune you can hear from the wavering sound, which we call beats. And the tuning is simply making those beats go away. So play middle C. Sometimes it's far enough out that you can simply hear that it's flat or sharp. But if it's close, you can't be sure. And in that case, one has to shade the pipe. And if the beats get faster, the tuner needs to go down. If it comes into tune and the beats go away, that means it needs to go up. So it's a simple matter of which way the beats go faster or slower tells you which way the tuner needs to go. Flue pipes. It's a whistle. There's a whole different class of pipes, usually trumpets, oboes, clarinets, that kind of thing. This is a trumpet, a style of trumpet, which are called reed pipes. They do have a moving part. They have a tongue, a brass tongue, which is curved, which vibrates when the air passes through the pipe. And it's tuned with this wire, which lengthens or shortens the vibrating length of the tongue, or up here. So this is a whole different class of reed of pipe, which speaks quite differently from the simple whistle. Another interesting feature, if you see these big shades here, these look like Venetian blinds, and these can open and close, and the purpose of that is to make the sound of the organ louder or softer. So why don't you stay here, I'll go and close these shades so you can see how they close. Those are necessary because organ pipes are basically inexpressive. They're either on or off. And to put expressiveness into the music, the shades are very valuable. So those shades I can open and close as if I don't have enough to do by playing with my feet and my hands. With my right foot I can activate a pedal to close or open the shades while I'm playing. And that gives the organist just more expressive capability. So if, for example, you're wanting to accompany the choir and you want to do a big decrescendo, so you're indicating to the choir, let's get softer, and at the same time I'm closing that pedal, which closes these shades. So it just gives more expressive capability to the organist to have these shades here in place.